Helen Keller walks into a bar, and then a chair, and then a table.
Warning. The following podcast is another wasted hour. Warning. The following podcast is another wasted hour.
I'm so wasted!
Someday we're going to change that, and I'm not sure what I'm going to say. But for the time being, no, it's not that kind of wasted. We do not drive an Acura Integra LSD. That is not the case. No, it's more like we're going to be a complete waste of your time. Like this 7 years wasted building a better healthcare plan. Seriously, you have the House, the Senate, the presidency, and you have successfully passed the same number of healthcare plans that I have. Instead, that useful, productive hour will be replaced by two ignorant, uninformed, ill-conceived, self-deprecating morons ranting about opinions that they have no right to have, which are probably wrong and absolutely do not matter. With that said, if for some god-awful reason you enjoy wasting the precious little time you have left on this earth, like, let's say, giraffe, I'm not gonna stop saying giraffe until that goddamn giraffe gives birth.
Giraffe.
With any luck, the bastard's gonna give birth before this episode is released, and I'm gonna look like an idiot with an undeserved ire towards expecting long-necked mammals. Search for Another Wasted Hour on all social media sites and share, follow, mention, and like and review us. Also, please subscribe to Another Wasted Hour on iTunes, Google Play Music, or Stitcher, and, well, review us there too. Our goal is to convince you that we hail from the city we hail from outside Washington, D.C. is not just a city of politics and scandals, but one brimming with art, music, and culture, as impossible as that may seem. So, now that you know why you're here, I'm Keith, and across from me is my co-host, Victor. Victor, why are you here this week?
I am here to pay respects to a fallen comrade. Treated me very well.
Yeah?
Rest in peace, my Galaxy 6.
Oh, no. Did it catch fire?
No.
They all catch fire.
I didn't even... I dropped it on a concrete floor.
Well...
And you would think, like, okay, that's an instant download of the cracked screen app.
Right, exactly.
But no. It fell perfectly flat and made a loud slap. But I was like,
Brilliant.
Okay, probably the corners of it or maybe the case on it took most of the damage.
Yeah.
And I picked it up and there's this soothing blue, like fading and brightening light.
That sounds good.
And I'm like,
That's a good thing, right?
This is new.
Yeah?
And that's all I get out of it now.
It won't turn on?
Like a minute of silence.
It seems
for my
like
phone.
if it were broken, it would be like a red light that said, warning.
Or I think it's like the sheer panic you get, like, no,
And it's like-
this thing's expensive.
And it's like, blue light.
Blue light.
It's okay. Shh. It's
Look
going to be
into the-
okay.
look
Worse
into the
things
light.
could happen. I could be a bomb.
That could be stacked up in a factory somewhere.
Right.
Burning it down.
Right. I could have burned your face and I didn't. You're welcome.
I saw a Note 7 quote charging station. It was a Tupperware bucket
Yeah.
with saran wrap on top.
Okay.
The phone sitting on the saran wrap charging, and in the bucket was just ice water.
So if it catches
So if it
fire,
heats
drops
up, it just falls right into the water.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, right.
Save yourself.
Oh, but yeah.
And then in the ice water would just be a soothing blue light.
And lots of smoke. Well, rest in peace, phone.
We're going to
So,
miss you.
Keith, cheer me up, man. Why are you here?
Well, I don't know if I can. I need to warn you, Victor, I am about to say the most offensive thing that I've said ever on this podcast.
Okay,
So
I'm real
listeners-
excited.
yes.
I'm real excited.
Listeners, get your Twitter accounts ready. For the record, NCAA basketball is stupid. It just is. You don't believe me? I know you're sports fans. I'm not a huge sports fan, not a big college sports fan.
I'd
not
say
a
you're
big,
pretty hefty.
Not a big basketball sports fan. But let me point out a few issues that I've learned about regarding college hoops. First of all, college hoops, college basketball, as you might say, is made up of conferences. I'd like to share a few of these conferences with you guys. First, we have the Big Ten, which has 14 teams.
What?
Yes. Then we have the Atlantic 10, which, as you might have guessed, is named after the ocean on the East Coast, which also has 14 teams. Don't worry. The Big East has 10 teams. The Big 12, care to guess? Anyone?
14 teams.
20 teams. Good job, college. Way to show people how to count.
Yep.
That's awesome.
You can
Higher
count on
education.
me because I can count on my fingers.
Yes. And that's not even the most offensive thing I'm going to say because it gets worse.
Oh, I'm
Here you
so
go.
excited.
Everybody, just get the pitchforks out now. Women's college basketball, not a sport.
It's not a sport
it
at
is
all?
not. I'm not saying it's not a sport because women play it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's not a sport because of the University of Connecticut. UConn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me share something with you about UConn because I don't think you guys are aware of this. Even if you're not big sports fans, I think you'll understand some of these numbers, okay? So their women's basketball team just advanced to the Final Four for the 10th straight time.
Wow. They must be pretty good
Do you know why they've been able to do 10 straight Final Fours?
because there have only been 4 teams.
No. Because they have won 111 games in a row.
Holy shit.
In a row!
Holy shit.
Yes, the last time they lost was November 17th, 2014.
Wow.
Yeah. 108 of those
Why does
games?
this not make them a sport?
Because 108 of those games, they won by double digits. 61 of them, 61 of the 111 games that they've won in a row, they won by at least 40 points.
Are they playing like, I don't know, high schoolers? Are they playing middle schoolers?
Their record over the last 157 games is 156-1. At some point, it's not a sport, and you have to admit it, that you're just going there to watch other people play basketball and shake hands at the end, right?
Yeah.
Like that's, hey, let's have a picnic and just watch them shoot around, because that's what's happening. That's not a sport anymore. That's
That's a massacre.
right. You're just like, hey, could you give us some tips? Like,
Right. Good practice, guys. Good practice.
Burned off some calories that time. That was good.
Can we work on the layups next?
Yeah, so I'm sorry. It's not a sport, ladies. Some of you should maybe inspire your daughters to play basketball. So maybe someone at some point in the history of the world can beat the Yukon Huskies, but it's not going to be soon.
Nope.
So
Watch, they'll lose like tomorrow.
yeah, exactly.
But hey, if it makes you feel any better, the baseball World Series
Yes.
is only played in the United States.
That's true. Well, in Canada.
That Canada doesn't count.
That's just
Their leader is way too hot.
It's just America's hot hat. So speaking of America's hat, we have members of DC Rockers
Nice
here in
transition.
studio. So hello, gentlemen. We have Eric. Hello, Eric.
Yeah, good to see you.
And we have Chris.
Hello, everybody.
I understand that you're also known as C-Dub.
C-Dub and DC Rockers, and then when I do karaoke, my stage name is Stranger with Benefits.
You do karaoke often enough that you have your own name up there?
Every week, Friday happy hour at Breakers and Herndon at the Clock Tower.
Well, there you go.
Solid.
I
Well,
got to keep
technically
my
with-
instrument in tune.
Yeah, technically with that name, though, anybody could step in, right? You're a stranger. So you'd be like, I'm C-Dub.
Yeah.
Are you? I don't recognize you. I'm a stranger with benefits.
Oh, you're that guy.
Yeah, definitely. So you guys are with the Rock and Roll Charitable Consortium of musicians known as DC Rockers,
Correct.
right? Which is fascinating. You guys have a show coming up on April 9th at Villain and Saint in Bethesda, Maryland. So tell us a little bit about what makes up a DC rocker. What is this? Because people are usually used to hearing bands and artists, and you guys are a little different. So how do you describe yourself?
We are, we are founded with the principle that anybody should be able to be in a rock band. So if you're a former, professional musician,
Right.
you come and play with us. If you've never played before,
Yeah.
you come and play with us. If you sing karaoke,
Yes.
you come and play with us.
If
okay?
you're
So
Donald Trump.
you don't come.
You do not.
You're not invited.
I've ruined your mantra.
You're not invited.
We have our own executive order against that.
We have to draw the line somewhere.
They were
Well,
like,
you have to be a real person. You cannot be 3 children in a trench coat.
like
Yes.
anyone can. No, not that. Okay, one exception.
You're cool. You're cool. Fuck you. You're good. You're cool.
So it's very cool. And then from what I've gathered from what you told me, you have a large group of people. You said what? There's like 360.
It's 361.
Wow.
To date. Yes.
That's very accurate.
yes. Yes. I have a lot
Where's
of time.
Steve? Where's Steve? We're only at 360 right now.
Yes. Yes.
So And then my understanding of about 100 really active members at a time. And all of those kind of get together. And for these shows, you put together essentially bands that have existed for a few months and what is it? How does that work?
Yeah. So what we do mainly is just do sort of jam sessions. So we'll do like a Jimi Hendrix night. People come and do their, Jimi Hendrix impersonation.
Right.
And when people get to know each other, we decided, well, let's start forming bands and putting on shows.
Yeah.
So we started doing that. And then we had to have a reason to do this. Like, why do people want to come see us?
Right, yeah.
So we said, well, let's do it for charity because, then people will feel good and they'll want to come see us. And we'll do it during the day because we're a little on the older side. We like to go to bed early. So we start our rock shows around noon.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that early?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So we got six bands playing on the 9th.
Nice.
And it's a decade show.
Oh, wow.
So we're going through the history of rock and roll.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So is it always a theme?
Always a theme.
Okay.
Right. Always a theme.
Cool. Well, I'd like to spend some more time talking about this a little later. But if you guys are patient enough with us, we'd like to try a bit of ours that we like to call the weather report.
Now, you may have noticed weather is spelled with an H.
You said that on the radio.
Well, I'm looking at a board and I don't care about anybody else, okay? Well, we're going to throw some headlines at you, some stories, and you can decide whether or not they should have been in the news.
Now, keep in mind, you can use any criteria that you would like. It could just be the length of the story or anything that's entailed inside of the story. Completely up to you. We will not judge. But we will judge one another as to who is able to actually bring more news to the program. And I feel like I have a really strong stance this week. I think I have a really good shot at it. I'd like to start off with a pretty important, I would say maybe even worldwide kind of importance, an event that happened. So the University of Southern California brings delegations from Africa to meet with business leaders, government officials, and others in the U.S. It's kind of this African trade meeting that they have every year. This year, there were no Africans at it.
What? What?
They were all denied visas, so they could not go to the African trade meeting in the U.S. because things. Because
A bunch of people just looking at each other like, well, okay.
Do you did you bring any Africans by any chance?
Fresh out of Africans.
Oh,
sorry.
yeah, me too. I left my Africans at home.
Damn it.
So, this is awkward.
This sounds like a pre-1860 conversation.
Right. It became, instead of an African trade meeting, it became an African lunch meeting where they just went to an African and had food. Because that was
you were implying that they ate the Africans.
No, that would be. They had to get into the United States first. So, the question is the African trade meeting that has no Africans in it, is that news, gentlemen?
Eh.
No,
No.
it is a worldwide event.
But it was here in America.
Yes.
Was Rachel Dolezal invited? Maybe that's why they didn't attend.
Oh, that's a really good point. I don't know who that is.
I don't know.
Was I supposed to know who that
It's
was?
like the World Series, though. It's a world event, but in the United States with nobody else.
People are right now judging us because we don't know who that was.
She was the young white lady who represented the NAACP.
Oh, that
Yes.
said she was black?
Correct.
I didn't know her name. I just thought she was dumb.
No. Well, now she's almost homeless.
Is she?
Practically.
Yeah.
So
How are
she
you,
fits
wait,
in
how
even
are you
more.
almost homeless?
Yeah, you're on the borderline of being homeless.
You're
on the
like,
porch.
you got 1 foot out the door.
You live on the porch, yeah.
Can I come in? No.
Well, you can hang out by the window. So I got one. It's titled "Liar, Liar, Pants on Fire."
The best title ever.
Yes. By the way, all of my news stories today fit a general theme of the ones I found throughout the history of this show.
Do you have the trifecta this week?
I do.
What is the
I have it all.
trifecta?
First of all, we have a theme about exploding phones. Liar, Liar, Pants on Fire is an article about a guy in Costco who desperately had to rip off his pants because his phone ignited in his pocket.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so he's running through the grocery store, like taking off his pants. People are like, that guy's just insane. What?
That's-
Keep him on, man. What do you do? Oh, there's fire.
Yeah.
That's fire. So
That's like the second worst place that a phone could catch fire, right?
in your pants?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you get at Costco. I'm like,
No, well,
I
that
don't
too.
know. It's not that big.
Because then
a
you have to
deal.
admit you're at Costco. But first would be right on your face, right? Like if you're talking into it and it just catches fire on your face, that's your number one seed in this particular tournament.
Yeah, number 2 has to be in your pants.
In your pants, right? Anywhere else, it's like, oh, my nightstand got burned.
Maybe
you're
like under the
fine.
pillow while you're sleeping, but that still kind of counts as on your face.
Who puts it on under their pillow?
Dumb people.
Soothing music.
Soothing
Just
blue
use
light.
a headset.
Soothing blue light.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sad.
So sleepy.
All right. So, gentlemen, what do you think?
Oh,
Phone
yeah.
catching fire.
Yeah, that's for sheer
Oh,
news.
that's complete bullshit.
Suck
Yeah,
on that,
that's-
Keith.
that's
Suck
news.
on that.
Definite
Yeah.
comedy.
They like fire.
It's comedy, no news.
It had to have been a hot call.
Or he told a really bad lie.
All right, so I'm gonna have to come back. This is gonna be a tough one. I thought I had to deal with the first one. So how about this? A Utah girl was shot in the head. This is a good start. I'm telling you. Anything that starts off with Utah girl shot in the head.
And then she apologized to her attacker.
Right, sorry about that. And was left for dead after 2 boys in her school became annoyed that she was Snapchatting too much. That's the news.
What?
Yeah, when you Snapchat too much, you do the face replacement. You look like a dog.
She was
all of the
probably
really
using way
cute-
too many goddamn filters.
That's what the problem was.
the voice changer, man. I could kill a bitch after too many voice changing snaps.
I like that somebody was like, it's not that interesting. You're not that Jesus Christ. I'm gonna shoot everything.
Was this in Florida?
No, it was in Utah. In
Utah.
Utah.
Wait, it said she was left for dead. Did
Yes.
she survive?
Yes. She I'm saying that because I don't have the actual story open. But
Let's
yes.
say she survived to snap another day, and now everybody's real mad.
Now they have to like double up their efforts. How many more people do you think in this world would have died by the hand of Hitler if Snapchat had existed back then? Because he seemed like he didn't have a really like very
Short
good
fuse.
temperament. Yeah. So that would have been really bad, I think.
I read somewhere, it may have been a joke, just making fun of him, but I read that Hitler would shoot anyone who woke him up from a nap. So when like the British Isle was being bombed to shit and they wanted to surrender,
Yeah.
Hitler was napping. They were like, go get the glorious leader. It's like, no, you got to wake him up. No, I'm not going to wake him up. You're going to wake him up. Well, I guess Britain's not surrendering.
Do you have a stick? Anyone with a long stick?
Right.
So is the death by Snapchats news?
I would say so. Is it
All right.
these were
I think
these
they're
were
just throwing you a bone here,
Yeah,
Keith.
probably.
They just feel bad for
these
you.
were Mormon folks, right?
I don't know that they were Mormon, but they are in the great Mormon state of Utah.
There's
I'm
a good
thinking-
chance of it.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
that's against the Mormon religion to,
I don't know.
to shoot somebody in the head.
I
Don't-
think lower down in
Only if they die.
yeah,
Or is that
otherwise you're fine.
is that-
Yeah. Right, exactly.
You could graze them. You could graze them, and it's
Otherwise, yeah, it's a gift.
Yeah.
You're like, here, have this bullet quickly.
That's my favorite one. Hang on to that for me.
Yeah, it's for you.
With your face.
All right.
So, this next one goes with our theme of people getting stuck in stupid places,
Oh,
trying
no.
to do stupid things. So
Jesus.
we had a burglar get stuck in a chimney. A drunk burglar gets stuck in a window. We had a parkour guy get stuck face down in a chimney, probably pissed on his own face. This one is about somebody trying to break into a science building on a college campus,
Okay.
getting spotted, panicking. He turns around and runs, tries
Yeah.
to jump this fence. It's a spiked fence.
Right.
He clears the fence.
Yes.
But his big ass gangster baggy pants get caught on the fence and he ends up hanging upside down, his leg twisted in a way that he's just trapped.
He's trapped.
Cannot get down by himself.
So there's only 2 options in this story, right? Either the guy was going into the science building because he doesn't know much about science and wanted to try and steal some science, and then it showed up as he tried to go over a fence and had no idea how gravity worked, right? Or he's very science oriented and didn't have the athleticism to actually get over the fence, right?
Right.
One or the other is this story, it seems like. Where would your money be on this one, Victor?
My money would be on let's see what expensive shit I can steal and sell.
Okay.
Because in the picture, he does not look very sciencey. Granted, he's hanging upside down by his pants with his tighty whities up to his ass crack.
No one looks
He's all like
sciencey that way.
No.
It's never a time where you go, let's talk about black holes. And they're like, I can
it was
see
the,
your black
the
hole.
locksmith that caught him. Then he was like, fuck, I'm out. Whoop. Whoop, 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 whoop. And he was stuck.
All right, gentlemen, is this news or not news?
I would say it is. I'm leaning on the Walter White angle.
There you go. I'm smelling what you're stepping in.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah. So we think that.
I'd have to say no, unless he's a Mormon. Was he a Mormon?
I don't think he was a Mormon.
No.
Any word of Mormonism in this?
Nope, Arizona.
No, Arizona. Okay, well, fair
Sorry.
enough. Well, so we have a split decision on that one, it sounds like. I think
All right.
we're pretty close to tied up here, I think, then. You're winning by like a half?
You're losing by a whole lot.
No, that's not true.
We'll go back and listen to it later.
I think I have a very important one here, gentlemen. So around 5:44 a.m. on November 1st, Hannah Iamers, who was 17, was driving her father's 2000 Volvo S80 on Interstate 75 North near Nitoa. When the car left the road, traveled into a median, and hit the end of a guardrail with the driver's side door. According to the Tennessee Highway Patrol crash report, the Volvo spun to the right and took out approximately 15 to 20 feet of guardrail before it skidded to a stop facing the southbound lanes of the shoulder. Hannah's father received a bill for $2,970 from the Tennessee Department of Transportation, dated February 24th, to address to Hannah for the cost of the labor and materials to install new 25-foot guardrail at the scene of the crash.
Yeah, I had a friend who hit a guardrail. She had to pay for it.
Yeah. Now, this is pretty standard. There's one twist in this particular story. Hannah died. Hannah died in that crash. The guardrail.
That hard when somebody died.
The guardrail did not save her life, as a guardrail should. The guardrail instead impaled the car, slammed into her body, and murdered her. And they got a bill. They got a bill for $3,000 going, hey, you got blood all over our guardrail.
Yeah. I feel bad for laughing that hard, but that's fucking funny.
Now, in Tennessee's defense, they say it was an erroneous bill, but you should probably be more careful about that.
Right. That's just douchey.
So,
By the way, we could charge you. We're not gonna.
we're not gonna, because she's dead. And that's probably worth $3,000.
That'd be mean.
We'll call it even. So that is what I'd like to call a really rough day. And
For sure.
but is it news? You can't nod on the radio.
Yes. I was letting him take the
I'd
lead.
say no. I'd say no. That's not news. That's just tragedy.
That's just mean.
No,
I
it's
know
just
there's some
tragic.
hidden cameras around here too, though.
You think so?
Just
Yeah, that's
tragedy.
on that's for the vlog.
Yeah,
You're
they're
doing the radio show now, and
Oh yeah, they're under your seats. That's where those cameras are.
That's
just
helpful.
so you know.
That's real helpful.
well, you got a surprise coming.
Yeah. So not news. Oh, I thought
No,
I had that
I
one.
say it's news.
Oh, you do.
Definitely.
So we're split. We're
split.
tied.
I
think,
used to have a Volvo.
Yeah, boxy, but good.
No, the redesign.
Oh yeah. All right. So
I missed the Volvo tanks.
How do you guys resolve ties? We got to resolve this.
Fight to the death.
Yeah.
It's a dance battle.
So, this keeping to the theme of previous events, we had somebody trying to smuggle drugs disguised as limes over the border. Somebody trying to smuggle moonshine disguised as water in Florida and
Yeah.
whatnot.
So
Whole shit ton of marijuana in a
illegal items as other items. You have another one of these, is what you're saying.
fruit shipment contained 57 fake bananas filled with cocaine.
Didn't they hear about the lime guy?
Yep. Authorities in Spain intercepted a shipment of bananas. Just these bright ass, lame looking green bananas.
That's not even the
It's
right
like,
color.
Yeah. I
They
mean,
were like, these are very young.
yeah, bananas are supposed to be like, there's a natural sort of, you can see streaks in them sometimes.
Sure, yeah, yeah.
Spots occasionally. These are like traffic cone green.
I like that this guy thought the lime guy didn't get away with it because it was the wrong fruit.
Right.
Like that, it wasn't the plan. It was like, oh yeah, of course they'd check limes. We're doing bananas.
22 pounds of cocaine.
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
We're going to have
man.
an entire fruit salad of cocaine soon.
Right.
That's amazing.
Along with limes made of marijuana.
Oh, yeah.
Water moonshine.
It's beautiful.
We'll put it in the cooler full of like 57 pounds of marijuana.
Best fruit punch ever.
Yep.
Gentlemen, is it news or not news?
News or not news? 57 Coke bananas.
Well, yeah, I think that's got to be news, right? But did we just not repeal the war on drugs? Did the government just do that today, or is that the war on coal?
I think it's coal. Yeah, I think they did stuff for clean energy that they took back, but that's not nearly as funny as what we're talking about.
Nah, war on drugs continues. Kinda.
Right. Because, drugs are bad. So, all right. So that's about it right now. Oh, we got one more. This is my all in at this point. I'm pushing my chips in. So in the UK, there is a reality show called Eden. It's going to be it's on Channel 4 in the UK, right? It involved 23 people who were doing a social experiment where they tried to create society over a period of a year where they're separated out from normal society. So they're rebuilding from scratch. The last 10 members of the Eden cast, 13 people had already left. They just came home after a year in this reality TV show to find out that only 4 episodes had aired, and it's probably canceled.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Priceless.
They were in the bleak wilderness for a year, expecting to come back, heroes and fame and start. Oh, you guys, we watched every episode. We fell in love with everything. Nope, canceled.
Replaced with Survivor.
I like that nobody told them anyone. Like nobody was like, you guys can go home. We're done. They were like, who knows? We'll keep it.
I don't know.
Let's put it in the can.
Maybe if we murder somebody.
So
It could go syndication.
right. It's like that show, that movie Office Space, where the guy just wasn't getting a paycheck but still working there.
Milton.
Yeah, exactly.
No, he
They were
wasn't.
like,
He wasn't working there, but he was still getting a paycheck.
Is that what it was?
So he was just like he had no job.
No, he kept saying, I haven't gotten my paycheck yet.
Because they figured out the glitch and they canceled his paychecks.
Oh,
And
okay.
at the end, he's like, "No, I'm gonna burn the building down.
Yeah.
That's the last straw."
You took my
So is it
swing line stapler. I'm going to burn the building down.
exactly? I like to imagine that all 10 people on the reality television Eve, the show, were out in the wilderness and sounded just like that. Just all 10 of them. I'm gonna make a fire. I'm gonna get some.
Well, did you
food.
say this was a Canadian show?
No, in the UK.
The UK.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say didn't they just apologize? And
Sorry.
If it was Canada, they just apologize and they move on with their lives.
I
They'd be
killed
like,
a deer. Oh, I'm sorry, dear.
We're sorry the show didn't work out, and they would go home.
Is it news or not news? You're putting so much
boy.
thought into this.
Yeah, I know.
This is amazing. It's really wearing on you.
It's not really news, but
It's
it is.
yeah, but
I'm
they were in
I'm
the
torn.
wilderness. Okay, you're torn. How?
I think it's hilarious.
Save us.
I would throw them a bone and call it news, just so they have some exposure. Just throw them a little bone.
They get something.
Yeah, get
Or at
something
least
out of it.
news.
Sympathy news vote.
Yeah.
I believe
That's all
I
you get,
win
Keith.
by half a news.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Live another week.
Take your news and shove it.
All right. So that has been the weather report. So back to what's important here, gentlemen. So again, we talked to everybody. You have a charity event coming up, which is going to be April 9th at the Villain and Saint in Bethesda, Maryland.
Correct.
Right. And this is DC Rocker. So you've got you said there's a theme of through the decades. You're going to go through the history of rock and roll.
Correct. We're actually counting backwards for some strange reason.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the end of the night is going to be the beginning.
Right. Most people would start with the 50s. We're
Yeah.
going to end with the 50s.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, just to confuse people.
Going back through time.
Yeah. That's
Oh my
great.
gosh, you should totally open with like something from
Back to
you
the
guys are going
Future?
to start in the 90s,
Was
right?
2000s.
2000s.
2000,
Yeah.
I pay
2010.
attention.
Right.
All right, so you should like have Marty McFly at the
Marty
beginning
McFly.
there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then have him come back at the end.
That would be great. And a DeLorean. You need a DeLorean.
Exactly.
So what we didn't say is that this is a charity event. We mentioned that, but
Right.
the charity itself, you guys said it's a Potomac Riverkeeper Network.
Correct.
How do you choose? First of all, is this a charity that you're using for all of these different shows? You've done other events, right?
Correct.
So how do you choose a charity, and is this one that you pair with a lot, or do you have other ones?
So
as well?
we started by trying to keep it musical. We started with Mr. Holland's Opus.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We started with the idea of a musical.
Sure.
It would sort of be synergistic.
Yeah.
But then we quickly ran out of musical charities.
No.
There was 3.
There's
in the
not
country.
enough.
Girls Rock DC was one.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, we
Mr.
really
Holland's
were
Opus.
scrambling. So we kind of branched out a little bit,
Yeah.
and usually one of our members would be involved with the charity.
Oh,
So
okay.
we've got Bill Kerr, who's actually a board member,
Oh, really?
and brought this idea to us. And
A board member for the charity or for you?
We don't have a board.
Okay, I was
We're
gonna
not
say.
that
I
sophisticated.
was like, wow, that's
Yeah.
really impressive.
Yeah, I would love to have a board.
I have
but-
a skateboard. That's
Yeah.
about as good as it
Well,
gets.
we have a dry erase board.
We have a dry erase board.
Yeah.
We have stuff on the board.
We put a bumblebee on it once.
Yeah, exactly. There's a picture up on Instagram.
Yeah, that's what we got too.
So he's on the board for
Potomac
Potomac Riverkeeper Network.
Correct.
Now, I'm going to put you on the spot here because I don't know what Potomac Riverkeeper Network is. Do you guys know?
Yes. Well,
Yes?
their goal is to keep the Potomac
River?
safe and clean.
Oh, okay. Okay. That
Right.
makes sense.
Kind of like what the EPA used to do.
Right.
But
Epa!
Right. Before it was canceled.
yes.
Okay. Do you know if they go and pick up trash and things like that?
Yeah,
and-
exactly. That's
Okay.
the kind of thing. Make sure no one's polluting the river, that kind of stuff. No
Very
one's,
cool.
skinny dipping in the river.
If someone wasn't able to make it to the event, is there a good way to be able to reach out to Potomac Riverkeeper Network and participate or
Yes,
donate to them
that's
directly?
that's a great question. So we set up through CrowdRise.
Okay.
That's a charitable gift giving site.
Yeah, yeah.
CrowdRise.com. If you
Okay.
just search for DC Rockers events,
Okay.
there's a page there, and you can donate tons of money and
Tons of it.
do great things. So,
Metric tons of money.
yes.
In bananas.
Yes.
Well, I'm really curious because we kind of touched on it before. You guys obviously have a different theme. Things get mixed and matched. It's all for charity, which is very cool. How do you come up with the actual bands? Is it numbers out of a hat? Is it self-organizing? Is it what ends up being I'm going to do the 2000s and I'm going to do the 80s? Or how do you get the themes, and then how do you get the bands that actually follow those themes?
Right, because bands, there's practice time to take
Sure, I would
take
hope.
into account.
Because if you get up there and they're just let's do 3, 2, watch me for the changes, and
All right, Marty McFly.
we don't know the song we're doing.
Right. So there's hours of practice. There's people have to come together in the first place, coordinate instruments.
Yeah, it is
Equipment.
self-organized. Everyone meets each other through the weekly or monthly events. Not to sidetrack, but
No,
Bethesda
sure.
holds weekly events on Tuesdays,
Okay,
and then I hold monthly events out in Sterling. So
so
we
you have
kinda
2 chapters of DC
if you want to call them
Rockers.
chapters, sure.
Yeah. If it was that organized, if you had a board, it would split up your organization. The board members would get together and vote, and you'd have 2 chapters.
Exactly.
But none of that exists.
Such a man like a
And
dry erase.
so after going to these events, band members know each other. Sometimes it's geographically located, like almost everybody in my band that I'm in right now
Sure.
is in Northern Virginia. We
Oh,
have
okay.
one member, 2 members from Maryland, actually.
People in Maryland.
So yeah, trying to meet up is difficult, but it's you post on meetup.com, hey, I would like to do the 50s. I would like to do the 80s,
Okay.
hair metal, whatever. And okay, well, we have a drummer, we have a bassist. Hey, we need a guitarist for the 80s. Anybody want to play guitar?
Yeah. That's very cool.
And so you all get together and decide where you're going to practice, rehearse.
So if I said, I was once in a band, so I know how music works. I've
Just
seen
once?
the little
Yeah.
dots on the page, and I know that those represent things that people enjoy hearing. I just don't know how to read them. And if I said, yeah, you know what, I would really like to do one of these events too, what would I do to participate in something like this?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. You go on meetup.com,
Okay.
you sign up for the DC Rockers,
Mhm.
and then when we have our event, we give newcomers, the first 30 days to say, hey, I want to be in the band. I
oh my
wanna be-
God, do you get a 30-day chip?
Yes. Yes, you do.
Yes!
You get your official
Yes, you get-
it's like a motorcycle gang where you get your patch.
Yeah.
Now you're in.
Wait, no, it's Boy Scouts.
Oh, okay, that too. That is a different thing.
We have
Merit
30-day
badge.
picks.
Yeah. So those are the newcomers. We let the newcomers in first.
Okay.
And then the vets come in after that and sort of
Fill in gaps.
It's pretty remarkable how it somehow comes together and sounds like music, because we got all kinds of different skill levels.
Sure.
We got people living in different parts of the country and coming together and getting, like you said, practicing, 4 or 5 times. And it comes together. It sounds like music.
What kind of
great.
time commitment is it for somebody that might be involved in something like this usually?
Yeah, it's a little bit, probably only, maybe a couple hours a week.
A couple hours a week.
You practice once a week,
You meet once a week, pretty much
five
usually.
times, 5 or 6 times, and then you go for a show.
And it's not like you're writing your own music either. That takes a long time.
Sure.
It's a cover. You can practice at home, put it all together, and put on a great show.
Right.
It's you know what it is? It's YouTube.
It's YouTube?
You could learn anything from YouTube.
That's true. That is
right.
I've always said that. If you're like, oh, I need to know how to put up wood paneling, you just YouTube wood paneling, and somebody's like, this is how you put up wood paneling. Oh, this is fantastic. This is better than the library.
There's an exact video for everything.
Yeah, it's like the library, but movies.
How to molecularly tie my shoe.
Library the movie. That's what it is. YouTube.
With Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, exactly.
George Takei.
So people should go, if they're interested in participating,
Right.
they should go to meetup.com/DC Rockers.
Exactly.
Right. But if they're interested in being a part of the actual charitable event, you'd want them to show up at the Villain and Saint in Bethesda, Maryland on April 9th. And it's early. You said noon, right?
Noon to 6.
Noon to 6.
Yeah.
And that's going to benefit the Potomac Riverkeeper Network, which is also available on CrowdRise. I assume crowdrise.com/DC Rockers or something like that. Do a search up on CrowdRise,
right,
and you'll get a bunch of letters and numbers and a big string.
The link is also on the meetup.com page.
Oh, okay. So meetup.com/DC Rockers. You can donate to that cause from there, but you can also find out details about the show and some of these other meetups that you're having in Sterling and where is it? In
Bethesda.
Maryland? Bethesda.
We do McLean occasionally too.
Okay. Oh, awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you for all that information. We'll get back to some more details here in a minute, but we've got another little contest. We're very competitive here, and so we're going to do a little segment we call This Week in History. We're going to go through some of the things that happened this week in history, thereabouts. We have some lax rules on that. And then you're going to tell us what the most historical thing was out of the entire list. So we're going to do kind of a speed round because we're running a little behind. I think it's you, Victor. How did you get started?
In 1774, the England adopts the Coercive Act.
Oh, that sounds
which
coercive.
is if you want to piss somebody off,
yeah,
and they push back,
yeah,
if you push them harder, they always calm down.
What?
Right? That's how it works.
Nah, what?
After the Tea Party, the Boston Tea Party,
sure.
England got real mad.
Yeah.
And they decided, in order to appease the settlers.
Yes. Everyone has to write in cursive.
Yeah, everyone has to write in cursive. No. They enacted 4 different policies. One was the Massachusetts Government Act, which restricted Massachusetts from having any town meetings.
Okay.
They passed
I hate meetings, so that's great.
In response to the disobedience, they passed another act that they had to pay back England for all the tea that they wasted in the harbor.
That was our
which
tea.
was the equivalent of like $1 million in today's money worth
Really?
of tea. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't realize there's so much tea.
The Administration of Justice Act, which made the British officials immune to prosecution anywhere in New England. And finally, the Quartering Act. They could put British soldiers in any home.
Right. Which is weird.
Right. It's like a great way to calm down the Yankees.
Excuse me. Can I sleep here? That's a weird thing for somebody to come. Hi, I'm a soldier. You hate us. I was just wondering if I could sleep on your couch.
Right. It's no coincidence that all of these policies that were made somehow ended up being against immediately made illegal by the Bill of Rights. The first 10 amendments outlaw all of those things.
No, you can assemble. You don't have to quarter any of your soldiers. All that bullshit done.
Yep. You don't even have to let women vote.
Well,
it's not a thing.
Here apparently was something that wasn't outlawed by the first 10 commandments, or 10. Well, those as well, I'm sure. But the first 10 amendments to the Constitution In 1832, Mormon founder Joseph Smith is tarred and feathered.
That's funny.
I didn't even.
Dum-dum-dum-dum-dum.
Smith's son died 5 days later from what doctors said was pneumonia. He developed the night of the event, which it's hard to get tar off. So I assume that he died of pneumonia while still looking like a really dirty chicken. So that's unfortunate, I assume. But I thought that was just in movies that they did that. I didn't even know that was a real thing.
Man.
Tarred and feathered.
Half of the build up to the American Revolution was prank warfare. Part of the initial rebellion was like moving British parliamentary outhouses back like 5 feet. So in the middle of the night, when you go to the bathroom, you just fall in a fucking hole before you get to the outhouse.
A shithole.
They would tar and feather people all the time, and it was psychological warfare.
I honestly, right now, wouldn't even know where to get enough tar and feathers to tar and feather somebody.
No.
I have no clue. Where would you go?
But they can
Home
just get
Depot?
like one drop of lava soap will take all that shit off these
That's
days.
true. It's not even impressive. That's a really good point.
So next up, in 1953, the polio vaccine is made, which I
That's
decided it's announced. Dr. Salk,
Yeah. Sure.
whatever,
Jonas
whoever the
Salk.
fuck that was,
Yeah.
Jonas Salk. Sure,
Probably
That's
impressive.
what we'll call him. Is a lying sack of shit.
What?
Because everybody knows that is not how they cured polio.
How did they?
FDR, American Badass, killed all of the werewolves that were spreading the polio virus.
Yeah.
And that is how we got rid of polio.
I see.
So I thought I'd just, bring that to attention that if you read that, it's fake news, people. It's fake news.
A lot of people don't know that 15 years later they came out with the water polio virus. Yeah.
What?
Like not as popular, but it's also well known. So you again go.
Yep. I got in 1979, the nuclear accident at 3 Mile Island happens.
Yeah.
One of the cooling pressure drains, whatever,
Sure.
starts draining water uncontrollably.
Yeah.
And the emergency systems kicked in.
Yes.
And it would have been fine until they could fix the initial valve.
Yeah.
Except all of the warning signs and everything, human error. They were like, I don't know what to do. Turn everything off. Turn everything off.
Hit everything with a rock.
So they turned off the reactor, but the fun part about a nuclear reactor is you can't turn it off.
That's
So
not
it
how
just
it
got
works.
hotter and hotter and hotter.
I like the people working at the nuclear power plant didn't know how nuclear worked.
Right.
They were like, I don't know, blow on it, pull it down.
If something goes wrong, push every button, pull every knob. You can't pull knobs, but whatever.
I do love how our disasters pale in comparison to the rest of the world's disasters. Right. Like we have like Chernobyl, which just became like a hot hole in the ground, right? And we were like, valve stuck. Oh my God, no more nuclear power
Fukushima,
plants.
which is like the radiation from that is affecting fish on the California coastline.
Right.
That's how far it
Remember,
stretched.
we have radiated boars running around killing people. Like, in America, they're like, look, there's a valve. No, that's too dangerous, people. We can't have this anymore.
Right, and all
Nothing
that
really happened.
All that happened from 3 Mile Island is we got a new buffalo wing flavor. That's it.
That's actually pretty accurate.
That's all we got.
1992, Clinton admits marijuana use. U.S. presidential candidate Bill Clinton states, well, when I was in England, I experimented with marijuana a time or two, and I didn't like it. And
The end.
I didn't inhale it and never tried it again. So there you go.
Well, okay.
The famous I didn't inhale. That happened this week in history.
Perfect.
Yeah. So another one. Do you guys know Wendy's?
Sure. Dave Thomas, right?
Yeah, exactly. In 1993, Dave Thomas got his GED.
His good enough degree.
Yeah. So he was a high school dropout. He actually passed his general education development exam, and then he was awarded an honorary diploma by Florida High School, who voted him most likely to succeed. I mean, at that time,
Nice.
he had already owned Wendy's, so it was a pretty easy vote.
And he was also adopted.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And that's not him on the sign. A lot of people don't know that.
I don't like him. I don't like people that are good at things.
No, you don't like anyone
No,
who's good at
no.
things?
Especially people who like work hard to earn it. Those are the worst kind of people.
Speaking of working hard,
In 1998, Viagra is approved by the FDA. An astonishing lightning fast 2 years after it's developed. Just like it was meant to lower blood pressure.
yeah.
It did not lower blood pressure.
What's the name of blood pressure? This is the best one.
Wait, what am
It
I?
was originally developed for a treatment of angina.
Angina. Yep. And then it did not do that.
Nope. Not at all.
That was a hard one to get through, but let's move on.
I like how if women have issues, we're like, we should shut down Planned Parenthood. Guy can't get a boner. Let's make a drug.
And they passed it 2 years, which is remarkably fast for the FDA to do anything.
Right, because there was a bunch of flaccid guys outside going, "Help me!"
They also decided with the invention of this, they decided to stop calling it impotence and switch to erectile dysfunction.
Oh, well, that was really nice of them.
Yes, they decided to not insult you anymore.
Yes,
and just say you have some sort of disorder.
Right, now we can tell people have impudence. That's what Trump has. Impudence.
Ooh.
I don't like anyone. I'm so angry.
Except for that guy he shook hands with for 19 seconds straight.
Yes. So last but not least, this is my favorite one of history. In the year 2001, which in the 1970s was the future.
Thanks, Keith.
Colorado Rockies pitching ace Randy Johnson lightly grazes a bird with a fastball. By lightly grazes a bird, I mean the bird exploded. This bird could have literally flown anywhere else in the world, right? It has the entire sky, and it picks the one spot where Randy Johnson is throwing a baseball. It's just a cloud of feathers.
Have you ever hit a bird with your car?
Right.
Feathers!
It's just feathers. Literally, we were like, that game, they were just tar away from the Mormons. Like, it was so close. They just needed some pine tar. They could have done it. Yeah.
It was on the bat.
It was super festive.
Was it on the bat?
The
tar.
tar.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
I thought you meant the bird was right in front of the base or something.
No.
So if the ball didn't get it, the bat would have.
It was halfway through between the pitching mound and home base, and it just is you see him wind up and throw, and you see her, and then the bird just bounces, and Randy Johnson's like, well, is that a strike? I don't know if that's. I mean, I should totally get a home run for that, right?
Right. I think we get a run.
Right. They should have just called it. What they did is they said it was no pitch, and so they did the pitch over. But they should have been like,
that bird
they
certainly
win.
didn't think so.
That team over there wins.
That would be the Cardinals.
They were playing the Cardinals.
I don't know. They might have been. But yeah,
that's just demoralizing right there.
What's his nickname? What was his nickname?
Big Unit.
The big
right?
was that the segue from the Viagra thing?
That is. Oh, that should have been. Why
Yeah.
didn't we do that? Speaking of the big unit.
There we go.
All right. So, last but not least, gentlemen, this is time where you get to be judge, jury, and executioner. What is the most historically important, in your own mind and judgment, story of the evening?
Dun, dun. Shh.
In my not so humble opinion,
Yes.
3 Mile Island.
Yeah, that's
Buffalo
a big one.
wings. Buffalo wings. I'm all about that.
Yeah, that is a
Love Canal.
strong contender. Eric, what do you say?
Yeah, this is tough because you got sex, drugs, but no rock
No
and roll,
rock and roll.
which
That is true.
really kind of sucks.
Right.
So I'll just go
But
with
Viagra made it as hard as a rock.
Viagra came out so guys could go in.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
a good point.
I'll go with polio. That's a really serious disease. I mean, that guy was
That's true.
he was on the ball.
Yeah.
Let's face it. I mean, give him some credit.
FDR American badass.
Yeah.
And we don't have any more werewolves, so it's a win-win
Exactly.
in general.
Didn't we have one in London? It was American, right?
Yeah, but he
that's
wasn't.
true.
He wasn't spreading polio. Those are only American
Right.
werewolves.
He was spreading freedom, actually. A lot of people don't know that.
Wait, isn't the title of the movie American Werewolf in London?
Yeah, I think there's a Paris one as well.
That's why there's Poland
Right.
now, right? Polio. I'm gonna shut up now.
Yeah, you should. You should totally. Just leave. I'll take care of the rest of the show
All right,
myself. Don't actually. Oh, well, that's awkward. All right, gentlemen. It sounds like we have the place to ourselves now.
I don't know how to follow up this joke. I don't know how to.
You have
Should
to
I have
commit,
made an
commit
entrance?
to the bit. So I don't know if you've listened to the show before. Either you have and you know what's coming next, or you haven't and you have horrible taste in podcasts because we're awesome. And
Not to toot your own horn or anything, man.
Right.
Toot toot.
So this is a little segment we like to call the five senses. This is where, scientifically speaking, they have done studies to show that memories are connected to each of your senses, the most powerful being the olfactory sense, your sense of smell, but all the others as well. So both of you are not only former musicians, but current musicians, and there's a lot of senses that go into
like
being a musician.
The whole I used to do drugs. I still do, but I used to too.
Yes. So let's start off with the most dominant of all the senses for most people, the sense of sight. You can either both pick something or kind of tag team. I'll let you guys self-organize like you do in the DC Rockers.
So,
Anyone at any time?
Bueller?
Yeah.
What's it?
Don't just look.
Go with let's go with visual.
Didn't it say-
Can you explain the rules again? What-
So what you're going to do is we're going to say visual. Sorry. So something you've seen that is memorable. It was either something horrifying, something awesome, something just generally that stuck with you over the years that involved during your music career and somehow.
Oh, okay. This is band related.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you've got something that's like really useful.
Yeah, I think the one that sticks out is probably multiple senses.
Okay.
Visual, probably olfactory, and
Yeah.
was when someone threw a pair of boxer shorts on the stage at one of our band members.
That definitely sounds olfactory.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah,
that
for sure.
band member female?
No,
So
he was
this-
male.
This is an unfortunate event,
Yes.
is what I'm understanding.
Yes, Stan. Do you remember Stan? The tall guy. He was. Yeah. One of his friends, I guess, threw some boxer shorts at him.
Well, he wouldn't dress like
Cool.
that if he didn't want it.
Yeah.
Did it get him in the face?
No.
That's the most important
Oh,
thing.
I can just see it like wrapping around his face as he's trying to play.
Just getting caught on the fence and not being able to move.
I think it grazed him just like Randy Johnson's fastball.
So he exploded into feathers.
I like that he ninja dodged it. It's probably like, oh, you're gonna.
Don't want none of that.
How do you have so many pieces? Oh, those are 8 boxer shorts.
How many did you wear today?
Brought a
And they
whole
all
pack.
smell used.
Didn't do laundry for a week.
So
That's very
our-
good.
That's audio. We'll call that olfactory visual.
Well,
I don't know if
we'll
that's
go for visual for now. Chris, do you have a visual one, or are you going to the next?
Yeah, no, I'm going to go way back to when I was a mobile DJ. I did wedding receptions and Christmas parties.
Oh my goodness, this is going to be
and
so great.
yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, cookies.
One of the things that I offered up to the grooms was inside their sleeve of their tux,
Yeah.
they would have various garments, which I'll tell you about in just a second.
Is it
And when
this guy's
came-
boxer shorts?
No. When it came time to remove the garter,
Yeah.
they would, flip the dress up,
Yeah.
and instead of removing the garter out from their sleeve, they would produce either boxer shorts
Yeah. Oh, it was boxer
or
shorts.
big granny shorts. One guy opted for the granny shorts, and in the other sleeve he had and pulled out a jock strap. The crowd went wild. The bride just put her face in her hands, and
Got a divorce.
but she was laughing.
Immediately
She
got that
really
old.
enjoyed it. She said it
Oh,
was
that's so
funny.
Noted.
Oh, that's great.
I'm gonna take notes here.
If you DJ, you now know a bit to do. You're stealing it. Awesome. Well, then we will move on to the next one. For a musician, I think one of the most important senses possible, the sense of hearing. Anything memorable that's happened, something you've
I'm
heard.
going to take the lead on that
Go
one.
for it. Yeah, do
Not
it.
sympathy here, but 4.5, almost 5 years ago, I woke up completely deaf in my left ear. It's called sudden sensorineural hearing loss, SSHL.
Oh, wow.
Usually caused by a virus. Hits like 10,000 people in the U.S. alone.
Seriously?
And, yeah, seriously.
Wow.
And 2.5 months later, I got a little bit of it back, but I'm completely,
Yeah.
completely deaf, pretty much. I can hear bass and drums.
Just on that
I can
side, though,
that
or on
side,
both?
yeah.
Okay.
And if I scratch my head on the left side, I only hear it from the center of my head to the right.
So you can chew cereal
So-
really hard.
Yeah, and at the same time, I started
Crunch,
really getting
crunch.
into music as far as like with others, because
Yeah.
know I've sung as everyone's favorite band Nickelback says, sing to more than just a steering wheel.
Right.
I actually started getting into music
Yeah.
after this. So
Really?
I'm trying to learn to hear myself and sing better and get into the whole band situation. It was not easy, but it's well worth it. And It's getting better now.
That's amazing. I had no idea that you could lose hearing in one ear kind of instantaneously like that. I always think of it as something over time that goes
Pretty
away.
much overnight.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'd be
sometimes a
real
span of 2 or 3 days.
That's crazy. Oh, how
Well,
about-
some people, they get their hearing back. I pretty much did not.
well, that's probably best because you've got Eric next to you playing music.
I'm sorry, who? What?
Could you repeat that, please?
He doesn't have to listen to you. He just plugs one ear and it's completely offline. Do you have a hearing story? We can skip to the
I'll
next
skip
one.
the
if you're
hearing.
not
I'll
sure.
skip the hearing.
Okay,
I'll
we'll
skip
move
it.
to the one that's usually most connected to memory, and that is the olfactory sense. That is the sense of smell. Do you guys have anything for the sense of smell
I do
besides
not.
boxer shorts?
I do not.
No? Victor, do you have a sense of smell story from your times on stage?
Let's see here. So our bass player once bought a van so that we could fit most of the equipment in one car and
Yeah,
stop all
sure.
of us, meeting up at the venue or meeting up somewhere, packing up as many cars as we could.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we had 2 guitarists back then, went out drinking the night before.
As they
do. Yeah, they passed out on somebody's couch and had to be driven home.
Yeah.
So they were like, all right, we'll be the first to ride in the new van.
Right.
So they lay down in the back seats and the whole ride home, beer farts. Beer farts from the night before. So this, the
Is
owner.
it winter? Like, can you get the windows down at least?
I don't remember what time of year it was. It was like fall.
Okay.
So it wasn't that cold, but yeah, you can roll down the window.
Oh, thank goodness.
But yeah, drops them off. Later that night, picks up a girl, and she's like, "Why does your van just smell like ass?" He's like, "Sorry, I got nose blind to it."
Right.
So all of our equipment has a certain
Right.
tinge to it.
A little smoky. It's one word, guitarists.
Exactly.
Excellent. All right, so we're close to the end of the show here. Let's power through the last couple. How about the sense of taste? Do you guys have something for the sense of taste?
Keith, you don't have taste. Let's be
No.
real.
Yeah. Well, no taste in music. That's for
Boy.
sure. All right. Last but not
no.
least.
That's tough.
Yeah, it is tough.
tough.
We've had some really good ones. We've had bands talk about band pasta, which is sometimes a thing that's served at venues. If you show up to play a venue, they'll have a big thing of pasta just for the band.
Backstage pizza.
Yeah.
And,
We've had the cupcakes at the 930 Club. If you play the 930
Ooh.
Club, you get cupcakes, which
Ooh,
is pretty
nice.
awesome.
and what the last band that was here, they did fried chicken. One of the members is always eating chicken.
Yes.
Always.
Always
Nice.
eating chicken.
Nice.
So how about the sense of touch?
Touch. I
Yeah.
got one early memory.
Yeah, go for
Well,
it.
I was in a band, like a kid band. We didn't know what we were doing. Like we had to borrow like equipment and stuff. People just gave us stuff.
That's the best time though, because you're just like full of hope.
Oh my
You're
god!
just like,
And then the
we're
world
gonna get
takes it.
signed. You're not.
Yeah.
You haven't played a show yet. We've got it. They're
Yeah.
just gonna come to our basement.
Yeah, so that was it. That was cool. So we hooked up all the equipment, didn't know what we were doing, and
Yeah.
I think we didn't know like what grounding the equipment meant.
Oh no.
Oh.
So we had like
See where
our
this is headed.
our lead singer,
Yeah.
and this is why I don't try to stay away from the mic.
Yeah.
There was a shot, a little arc that came out of the mic, and it sort of welded his lip to the mic.
Whoa!
Yeah, and like ever since that's why I kind of took like 20 or 30 years off music. But
20
oh
or
my
30.
goodness. That
But-
happened to me at some venues. They would have PAs that were all really sketchy, and you'd get up on the mic and be like, "Hey, everybody, this first song." Psst. Oh, Jesus! Really? And then
That's
the
why
rest of
they
the
call
show,
it phantom power.
yeah, the rest of the show, you're like I'm just singing from back here. No, this is the song where I shout a lot.
We had a demon. We called it the demon amp. It was the first tube amp we ever got, and we were real excited.
Yeah.
It was not grounded at all, so you could not mess with the settings on it. You couldn't go anywhere near it. You couldn't touch it. Do not touch the demon amp, but it sounded real good.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything? Do you have, Chris? Do you have a touch? Do you want to touch something?
No.
That's
Besides
fine.
myself,
Touching yourself that's a story. That's totally a story.
I actually have a flasher jacket that I wore last time for the Metal Gaga band that I was in. We did metal versions of Lady Gaga, Sia, and Britney.
Yes.
And it was like a flasher jacket, and I had sunglasses on.
You had a
So-
flasher jacket on.
Well, it
And
like
then you
a
opened-
black raincoat, a full-length black raincoat.
and during the show, did you open this?
Yeah, I did. I flashed everybody.
Oh,
know.
God, I hope this show ends soon.
Yeah.
Thank God. Oh, Jesus Christ. Saved by the music. Thank you so much for coming out, guys.
You're welcome.
Coming up this week, we've got April 6th, Vim and Vigor at the Velvet Lounge in Washington, D.C. April 8th, Yellow Tie Guy, Kickbacks in Danville, Virginia. Surprise attack on April 8th at Quattro Gringos Winery in Aldi, Virginia. Obviously, we've got April 9th, Villain and Saint in Bethesda, Maryland, with DC Rockers. Shout out to Party Time Guido on Twitter, who I believe is our boy from Turtle Recall. He shouted out at us at Twitter. Rest of the AWH mob, join it. Like us, follow us, retweet us, do all of that stuff, please. And we'll mention you on the show. Next week, we have the enigmatic Sam Cooper and the Sleepwalkers who are joining us. If you enjoyed the show, email us at contact@anotherwastedhour. If you hated the show, don't worry. This show couldn't get passed through Congress. So I want to thank Victor, most of all, for putting up with me this week. And, of course, the DC Rockers for wasting a perfectly good hour. This has been another wasted hour. If you just realized that, don't blame us. We warned you.